This past Sunday was the 25th of Tishrei that was marked as the second day of mourning for last year's Hamas assault on Simchat Torah. That morning, over 2,500 rockets crashed into Israel, followed by the breaching of the border in 119 places. Then in a horrifying series of attacks, close to 1,200 Israelis were brutally murdered and 251 more were taken hostage. Hamas called it Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, a flood of terror that swept not only Israel, but also reignited waves of antisemitism worldwide. This coming Shabbat we'll read Parasha Noach, which tells the story of a different kind of flood, one that washed over the world to cleanse it from corruption. And I believe there's an important lesson we can learn today from the flood back then. What might that be? The key, I believe, is in Noah's Ark. It's interesting that Torah spends 3 full verses detailing Noah's Ark, the materials, the dimensions, the entire structure. Why the emphasis on these specifics? Let's consider this emphasis through a comparison with the Mishkan, or tabernacle, which God also commands to be built to exact specification. Let's break down a few key parallels. Dimensions. Both Noah's Ark and the Mishkan include exact measurements. Materials and layers. God instructs Noah to coat the ark inside and out with pitch, a protective layer. Similarly, the Mishkan's Ark of the Covenant is overlaid with gold, both inside and out. Levels of structure. Noah's Ark has 3 decks, while the Mishkan has 3 levels of sanctity. The outer camp, the camp of the Levites, and finally the Mishkan itself, where God's presence dwells. Exact obedience. Both Noah and those constructing the Mishkan follow God's instructions precisely. And in both cases, their work is completed on the first day of the first month. Mobility. Both are portable structures. The ark moves through floodwaters, while the Mishkan accompanies Israel through the wilderness. So what's the significance of these parallels? In my book, In the Beginnings, Discovering the 2 Worldviews, hidden within Genesis 1 through 11, I propose that the ark symbolized for Noah what the Mishkan would later symbolize for Israel, a vessel of divine protection and direction. Guided by God's presence, Noah emerged into a cleansed world charged with a new mission, just as Israel would eventually settle in their own land to serve as a nation dedicated to God. Yet there's a crucial difference between these 2 structures. Noah's Ark protected only those aboard. It was a private refuge from the surrounding chaos. But the Mishkan was meant to radiate outward, sanctifying everything around it. So as we face our modern day flood, we're called upon to balance these approaches. On the one hand, we need to adopt the ark paradigm and do what is necessary to protect ourselves from hostile surroundings, even if that at times means we will become a more insular community or nation. On the other hand, we must also embrace the Mishkan paradigm by trying to eliminate evil through the spreading of holiness and goodness, and in doing so, creating a better world for both ourselves and for all of humanity. If this message resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights. Shabbat Shalom.